All right, we are live. Episode 4 of the Untitled College Football Show. Name pending. Trying to work on that still. What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Doing good.
Sweet, sweet. So obviously, this past week slate, this was an all-timer, right? I mean, starting with Friday night. I mean, Virginia taking down Florida State. I want to take a little credit there, by the way. I said watch out for that one. With maybe the greatest field storming I've ever seen. They executed it perfectly. The moment the play was over, boom, just
It was
immediate.
instantaneous.
Yeah.
I,
Then Arizona
Is
State.
Squirrel White alive?
What'd you say?
Do we have confirmation Squirrel White is alive?
We can't talk about it on this show, but I don't know, bro. He might be out next week. We don't know about that one.
I think people were posting like the Lion King, like when you saw everyone storming on the field.
That's funny. No, the clip of them running by all the fans, and then just you see Tommy Castellanos and the Virginia fan just
the guy
Give him the
live
bird.
streaming.
Just the drive by. It was so funny. I saw it live and I started crying, laughing with how funny I thought that was. But no, Friday night, legit, every game was a banger. Like Virginia, Florida State, double overtime. TCU, Arizona State, really good game. Even Houston, Oregon State was really good. Like Oregon State was down by 21 was it? They were down a good bit and they fought their way back
Houston,
to make the game.
Houston was down.
Or Houston was down, excuse me. Yeah, you're right. So it was an all-time day. Then obviously you had the matchups we were looking for, like Auburn A&M. It was more of a slower, boring style game, but it still had a little bit of excitement at the end, I guess, if you want to count that. Ohio State, Washington. I was in the group that thought that game would be closer personally, but Ohio State just kind of took care of business. And in Washington's 22-game or home game win streak, Oregon, Penn State, candidate for game of the year, double overtime. Drew Aller into the game pick. James Franklin goes now to 4-18 versus top 10 teams, I think is the record, something like that.
He's 1-19 since 2016.
See, the thing is,
5 teams.
Franklin is one of the weirdest cases in college football where 90% of fan bases would kill to have him coach their team. But you're knowing going into it, hey, he's going to build you up to a good roster, but you're never going to be championship contender good enough to win it all.
I mean, he always picks an easy Big Ten slate. I mean, it's perfect for 10-2.
Yeah.
You get 3 free wins when you schedule FIU, Villanova, and I forget who the third they scheduled this year was. And then it's you play a pretty, all things considered, light Big Ten slate, and then you have your 2 hard games. Instead of now just Penn State and Michigan, or Ohio State and Michigan, now it's Oregon. So yeah, they're going 10-2 for sure.
Yeah, like you said, they're going to go 10-2, make the playoff, but they're never going to be a team where you're okay, they can seriously win it all. It just doesn't seem like that's going to happen under James Franklin.
Dude, if they lose to Indiana, I don't think they make the playoff at all. They have no wins. They'd have no serious big-time ranked wins. So I think.
I mean, you would assume, let's say, lost to Oregon, obviously, already happened.
Yeah.
Lost to Indiana, lost to Ohio State. That's a 9-3 Penn State team with no really marquee wins. Yeah.
I don't think they'd have a ranked win the entire season then.
Yeah.
They have no reason to be in the playoff.
It'd be kind of similar to Bama last year, I guess, where they were sitting 9-3, but they didn't have any of it's outside of the Georgia game from last year. It didn't have any huge wins,
But Penn State doesn't even have that huge win against a rival.
Yeah.
That would be a top 10 ranked win. They were going to have, I don't think they play Illinois either.
Let me see if they play Illinois while we're talking about that. I'm pulling up their schedule right now. Let's see. They have at UCLA, Northwestern, at Iowa, at Ohio State versus Indiana, at Michigan State versus Nebraska, and at Rutgers. So it's
yeah, they have no reason to be in the playoff if they lose to Illinois or Indiana. They beat Indiana, you could make the argument.
If they're 10-2 with close losses to Ohio State and Oregon, who are probably team 1 and team 2 in the country, I think they should make the playoff still.
Yeah, it just depends on the bubble too. It really just depends on who's there.
If there's a bunch of resume teams is close losses.
If there's a bunch of teams,
that's fair.
With 3 and 4 losses, I mean.
Yeah, but I think about how the Oregon game, they took them to double overtime. So it's and Oregon's the second best team in the country right now, according to AP poll. And so it's like if Penn State's playing that close a game with Oregon,
Then
who's
they
like
should beat Indiana, and it should be in their own hands if they make it.
that's fair also, but not to rehash about old games too much. But Ole Miss took down LSU. Alabama beat Georgia again. No matter who's the head coach at Alabama, Kirby Smart just can't get over it. Alabama's his kryptonite. That's his one thing that he cannot stop.
Yeah, agreed.
But Indiana handles Iowa. Iowa State handles Arizona. Well, I shouldn't say Indiana handled Iowa. They only beat them by 5.
It was
Iowa
kind of
State,
a weird game.
It was
They
a
should've
weird
won
game.
7. Taking the safety as time expired.
Yeah. Tennessee, Mississippi State goes to overtime, but Tennessee wins at the end. Like, I saw a debate earlier today on unnecessary roughness. I was listening to their podcast, and they were talking about the worst, or the best, worst teams in college football. And Blutman said Georgia Tech. Is it not Mississippi State? They beat Arizona State, who's one of the Big 12 contenders. They took Tennessee to overtime at home, who just narrowly lost to Georgia, a top 10 team in the country. Sorry, what you say?
I think that's a good take. I think that's fair.
I mean, Jeff Lebby, it seems like he's building something there. Like, he's bringing in talent, it seems like, and he's got his locker room bought in. I think Jeff Lebby could be a guy to watch out this next couple years at Mississippi State. There has been times where State hasn't been terrible, and they've been a relevant program in the SEC. So it's not some program where they have no chance to make any noise.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to keep an eye on.
They were building something before Mike Leach passed away, and
yeah,
that
exactly.
sadly happened.
For sure. Now, the next game, Georgia Tech barely survives against Wake Forest in overtime. I feel there were so many overtimes this week. Mm-hmm. Georgia, Bama. No, not Georgia, Bama. Penn State, Oregon. Georgia Tech, Wake Forest. Tennessee, Mississippi State. Florida State, Virginia. Houston, Oregon State went to OT too, if I'm remembering that correctly. There's so many games this week where it was they went to OT. It was a really good week of ball.
I'm looking at through some of the smaller games. Wildest score probably. There's a game that went to double overtime, and the final score was 54-51. Louisiana, Marshall. I'm just looking through scores from last week.
That's what I'm doing too. Oh, also, I'm scrolling through the seats. Notre Dame 56, Arkansas 13. Oh, yeah. And result, Sam Pittman gets fired.
Yep. Heard it here first. We said that last week.
We called it. We did call it. But also, weirdly enough, I was I think I said if Arkansas gets blown out, Pittman's gone. But I was also in the mindset of that Arkansas can make this interesting. I thought this was a spot for them where they can make some noise, but I was clearly wrong. Notre Dame just handled business for 4 straight quarters, and this was never even close. Jeremiah Love did whatever he wanted. How many touchdowns did he have? 3 touchdowns? 2 on the ground, 1 in the air? Or was it 2 and 2? Did he have 4 in total?
I didn't watch the game, but
I watched some of it, and then I turned it off on my YouTube TV after the one player for Arkansas got hurt.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't even show it.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 through the air. So he had a 4 touchdown day. He was the only player in Notre Dame history to do that, I'm pretty sure.
Insane.
So I guess my next question is, if he has a follow-up game the next week, that's a strong one, does he assert himself into the Heisman conversation? Because it feels like a weak year for the Heisman. You have Dante Moore, you have Ty Simpson, but Ty Simpson already lost to Florida State in week 1 where he didn't look very impressive. So is Jeremiah Love a guy who can make some noise if he has another strong few outings?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at Notre Dame's schedule, but I mean, I thought I got pretty easy last time I checked for the second half of the season, which is what we're coming up on.
I'm checking that right now. They have Boise State goes to South Bend next weekend. NC State goes to South Bend. USC. So they get 3 straight home games. They go to Boston College. Navy goes to them. They go to Pitt. Syracuse goes to them. And then they end the year against Stanford. They should win out.
They should, yeah.
They're going to be 10-2. and make the playoff probably.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't be. I think they'll probably sneak in as like an 11 or 12 or one of those at-large bids.
Yeah, because they're probably going to be 10-2, like I just said. But like their losses also though were like quality losses. Like lost to Miami, who's number 3 in the nation. Lost to A&M, who's now number 5 in the nation. Number 6. What were they? Number 6 or 5?
I think 6.
Yeah. So regardless, the 2 teams they have lost to have been number 2 and number 3 and number 6 in the current AP rankings. So it's like you don't want to lose those games, but they were combined like 5 points in each game they lost. So Notre Dame's going to be fine. They're probably going to make the playoff again. And people were writing them off, I remember, after they lost those games. I was like, are we forgetting that they lost to Northern Illinois last year and made the national championship? Like, Marcus Freeman's one of the best coaches in the sport, period. But that's really all there was for week 5. Nothing really else super entertaining happened. So we doing.
Hey, Auburn almost got that win. They got close.
Dude, I don't try to jump the gun with like head coaching stuff, like firing and that whole conversation. But man, after this bye week, if we look rough against Georgia, it might be time to pull the plug. Like, because the thing is, you spend all this money on these playmakers offensively, right? Cam Coleman, you paid him a fat bag to say when there was other programs like trying their best to get him in the portal and to get him to leave Auburn. He stays, right? But against A&M, what you do is you keep him on the outside and you run 3 comeback routes with him. 3, and that's all you do with your best playmaker on offense. You don't move him around the offense. You don't give him different looks. You don't give him different routes to run. Like, where's the offensive creativity that we were told we were going to get when Hugh Freeze was hired? I'm not seeing it. It's a lot of the same vanilla, bland stuff. Like, it gets old at some point whenever you lose the same ways every week.
I mean, that's a good A&M defense. They're going to somehow find a way to go 8-4 this year.
It is a good A&M defense, but at the same time, like, Akron even had success on the ground against them. Like, Akron had like 200 yards on the ground, I believe, against them, like week 1 or week 2. And if Akron can run the ball on them with the guys we have on this offensive line and the running backs we have, and Jackson Arnold also being a threat with his legs, there should be more creativity and more like success and explosive plays like behind this offense. So whenever you look at that in totality and you're like, okay, the offense is struggling, it's clear there's playmakers because you look at mock drafts, you see Cam Coleman going first round in the 2027 draft, Eric Singleton going in the 2nd or 3rd round, our center Connor Liu going in the 2nd round. Like, there's good players on this roster, so it's just confusing as to why it's struggling so much, especially on the road. Like, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox about Auburn. I have to talk about this for an hour probably, but I'm sure that's not what people want to see. But all right, week 6. Let me get this pulled up. See what slate we got.
I was going to say, I have a really sleeper game that is not getting enough coverage. That is Iowa State at Cincinnati. Iowa State's 14 in the nation. Cincinnati 3-1, and Vegas has them favored by 1.5.
Dude, we didn't talk about that Cincinnati Kansas game. That was a wild game.
I didn't get to watch that one.
It was like down to the final drive. I think Kansas choked right at the end of the game.
Yeah, they did. I would say the other thing, too, is ESPN posted top 40 QBs right now in college football, and they had Sorsby as the best in the Big 12, which I think is kind of insane.
Cincinnati's quarterback?
Yeah. They glazed him through and through, which, I mean, he's good. He's a crazy completion percentage. It's like 75%.
But you have guys like, sorry not to cut you off, like Sorsby's not bad, but you have like Sawyer Robertson, Sam Levitt, Josh Hoover. Like, all these guys have been awesome this year for like their respective teams.
I think it's just the best quarterback conference in the nation. Like, obviously I'm a Big 12 guy, but I mean, it's like you have, and then you also add Sorsby, Jalen Daniels.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, Rocco Beck's he's getting the job done. I mean, Iowa State, they get the job done every week. Rocco Beck's nothing crazy, but he's consistent.
He's not, I mean, I don't think that's a bad take saying the Big 12 has the best quarterbacks. I think, if anything, that's the accurate take. Because you look in the Big 10, there's obviously Dante Moore at Oregon, who's a stud, probably the Heisman frontrunner right now. I haven't looked at the odds recently, but I'm assuming after that Penn State game, he's probably number one. You have
Mendoza, I think, still is number one. I believe since Mateer went down with injury.
You said Mendoza?
I thought Mendoza was last time I checked. I'll look right now.
Okay, and also another guy you brought up, Mendoza, Indiana. He's an awesome quarterback as well. Drew Aller, depending on what you feel about him. Like some are high on him, some are low on him. I'm somewhere in between. I don't think he sucks, but I don't think he's elite either. I think he's just right in the middle, probably. Is there anyone else in the Big Ten quarterback-wise I'm missing?
No, that's it. Dante Moore is the favorite. He's at plus 500 right.
I was gonna say Dante Moore is probably the favorite after the game last weekend.
A guy I'm missing, Damon Williams, Washington. I think he's good.
I'll tell you a QB that's standing out, Diego Pavia.
I can't talk about it. I'm a Pavia hater just because he owns Auburn. That's literally my only thing. Like, if he didn't have Auburn's number, I'd be like, he's one of the coolest college quarterbacks to watch right now. Just like he has that same Johnny Manziel energy that like is fun to watch, but I'm just like, because he has our number since he's been at Vandy, even when he was at New Mexico State, he beat us. Like, I can't do it. I have to be a hater. But anyway, the Week 6 slate. Let's see. Oh, sorry. You were on talk Iowa State, Cincinnati. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's get some score predictions for this. I think this is probably going to be a sleeper game. I mean, obviously the Big 12 is in the shadow of the SEC and the Big 10, but I think this is going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to come down to if Iowa State can shut down Brendan Sorsby as one of these dual threat guys, because he also leads the team in rushing yards as well. But, I mean, I still like Iowa State on the road. I think they're a more complete team. I think they're more consistent. So I would take Iowa State probably 31-28 here. With one of those like walk-off field goal moments.
I guess I'll go. Give me Cincinnati 38 to 35 over Iowa.
Okay. See, one thing I've learned is whenever you're betting on these games and the team that's not favored or the team that's unranked is favored against the ranked team, you take the unranked team every single time because Vegas knows what they're doing. They're setting that line where it's like, oh, only a 1.5 point underdog. Iowa State is. Let me just take them money line. They just knowing good and well, hey, Iowa State's losing this weekend. So the sharp side to be on here is Cincinnati. So I'm taking Cincinnati to win. I'm going to go 34-30. Let's see. What game do we want to cover next? There's a few good options actually this week. It's not as good as last week, but it's still a pretty solid week. We'll do this one, Jacob. Illinois at Purdue. Thoughts?
I guess I'll start. Purdue's offenses look really good. Illinois is kind of like a roller coaster ride right now.
Yeah.
I think we have a good shot at this game, but it just is going to be how our defense comes out, and if we can stop Illinois at all. I know we kind of have Illinois' number. Like even Ryan Walters, like our two of our worst coaches ever beat Illinois. So Ryan Walters back in 2023 blew out Brett Bielema, and then so I think Ryan Brown shows up to play, has a game like he did last year. I'm gonna say go with a confident pick and have us win 31-24.
Okay.
I think that would probably axe Illinois' chances if that happens at the playoff.
Yeah, if they lose that one after getting destroyed by Indiana, they're out.
They're already out on the outside looking to even make the championship game for the guaranteed bid. So.
Yeah, because I know USC, they're good offense, but against Purdue, if Purdue had not turned the ball over 3 times in the red zone, that game was a lot closer than it should, or would have been a lot closer. And we put up 30 points on Notre Dame as well. So I think we really need a bounce back win. And I think Barry Odom's going to have his team locked in this weekend.
See, I definitely see your point, Jacob, about having their number, and I get where you're coming from. But at the same time, this Illinois team last week showed some real toughness coming out against USC after getting demolished by Indiana and handled business. They even came back in this game. They were down by 14 at one point, and they still fought their way back in this game and won with the last second field goal. Like, I think this Illinois team's made of the right stuff. Now, I do think Purdue covers the 9.5-point spread. So I think score prediction wise, I'll go Illinois 31. I'm gonna go Purdue 27. I think Purdue loses a narrow one. Sorry, Jacob.
Yeah. I mean, I think I like Purdue to cover, but I'm with you. Will Luke? Yeah, give me Illinois 30, Purdue 24.
What a great time to come in here, just in time for Purdue talk.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Give us your thoughts, man.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I was very wrong about Illinois to begin with. I don't know if you talked about the game from Saturday with USC.
We touched on it a little bit.
USC is fraudulent. Per usual, they play no defense, and perhaps Jaden Mayava playing against air was a bit of an illusion. But yeah, so give Illinois credit. They were definitely a better team than USC. But yeah, so first of all, I want to get Jacob, what were your thoughts on Purdue last week there? I think they are kind of in need of not necessarily they're in definite need of a bounce back performance there. But I don't know if they're going to get it against Illinois per se. So that's actually like a closer spread than I think people are giving it credit for. So I would say that that's a game that Illinois should win and probably should cover also. But yeah, I'm very ready to be let down by Illinois football again here. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm very heavy on Illinois. I'm going to say like 45-27 they win.
Yeah, so I think you didn't hear this part, Matt, so I'll reiterate what I said a second ago. Like, Illinois just coming off a game where they got blown out by Indiana.
Torched.
Yeah, absolutely just cooked. Had USC coming in, which I still think USC is a good team. Like, maybe a tad over. It's still a good football team. I think that's fair to say. And they battled back, being down 14, coming off an absolute, like, getting destroyed by Indiana. They showed some toughness, I feel like. I feel like that's fair to say about Illinois and this team.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely – USC is not, like, Big Ten West tough, if you will, like with the old Big Ten West, like how those Wisconsin teams were and, like, Michigan State under D'Antonio and Iowa. That they just don't have that kind of toughness. And that game, I mean, they probably could have won. It was kind of a, like, who has the ball last scenario, and people have argued if they scored too quickly and left way too much time for Illinois. So it was a game they could have won. I mean, I still think USC is probably going to get pushed around when they play Michigan, they play Notre Dame. Those are probably games that do not bode well for them from a physical standpoint. But yeah, I think, this is not going to be a game that they should struggle with. But we'll see. That's why they play the games.
I was just bringing up Brett Bielema lost to Ryan Walters 2 years ago, 4-8 Purdue. So I think a rivalry game is going to make it a lot closer than it should be. I just went with the homer pick Purdue to get a bounce back win, because like our performances against USC and Notre Dame, like offensively weren't that bad. Defensively, not great, but I mean, you don't have as much of a disadvantage on the offensive defensive line compared to like a USC or Notre Dame. So I went 31-24 Illinois. I think it'll be a shootout either way. Could go either way. But that was my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, since we're going live for an hour tonight, I want to make sure we touch on like all the big games first, and then we can loop back around if we have time and talk about some of the other games. But for the next one, we got number 16 Vanderbilt and number 10 Alabama. The over-under in this one is 55.5. Alabama's a 10.5-point favorite. Matt, you got the Alabama background on. I thought you should start with this one.
Well, first of all, this is also game day. So I don't know who that says more about. If you told me 5 years ago game day would be going to Vandy, Bama, that would be pretty shocking. This is one that I would say that in the case of Vandy, I wouldn't say the magic ends for them, but I think this is one where they probably will have met their match. I know last year was probably their best game of the season for that team, but this week this is Bama's finally found their stride, I would say. Now that might have a lot more to do with Georgia than it does to do with Bama per se, but this is, the best football Ty Simpson's ever played, and if it gets to the point where Vandy's going to have to keep up with Bama, I just don't know if they have the depth, and they haven't quite seen a defense the speed of what Bama's got. Now, granted, you could say the same about last year's game. Last year, Bama coming off beating Georgia and playing Vandy. So, yeah, and this Vandy team's certainly better than the team they had last year. So, yeah. I think this is a good spot for Bama. It's a good spot for both, I guess, but I would say this spot favors Bama significantly more. And they're the synergy they got between Grubb and Kalen and Simpson now, they're playing good football, and this is one that Bama just has to have, like, non-negotiable with the rest of the schedule coming up. They got to have it if they want to be a contender still. So, yeah, I would say that Bama wins this one. I would say it's probably closer than what some people might think. Some people might see like a Bama runaway. I would say more like a 24-13 type of game.
Yeah. See, I think like with this one, you kind of touched on it about how, Georgia or Alabama has kind of have Georgia's number, right? Like these past couple of years. And it seems like they just can't get over that hump almost of like Alabama. They can't get it like the mental block out of their head of beating them. I think the same thing kind of coexists here. Like, weirdly enough, talking about Vanderbilt football, Alabama having a Vandy problem. Like with last year, it seems like I think this is a game that Alabama will win. I think they're better than last year. And like you touched on, Ty Simpson's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in college football at this point. Like he's playing like a top 5 guy right now. And if he continues to play like that and they give him time in the pocket to deliver the strikes to, Ryan Williams.
Yeah.
That was a bad throwback.
Deep track. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but like if he gets the ball out to his targets and stuff like that, then yeah, Vandy might have a tough time. But still, nonetheless, this being a 10.5 point spread, that's way too many points for me, I feel like. I do feel like Alabama's going to win this game because they have so much synergy, like you said, with Kalen DeBoer getting his guy again and Ryan Grubb and Ty Simpson being the kind of quarterback that they want that, sling it all around the yard and really get things going with his arm. And he's also a great leader. Like, I hate to say it as an Auburn guy, but he is. Like, I don't know if y'all saw that halftime speech where he was talking, but you can tell the kid was coached by Nick Saban. Like, it's just obvious. You know what I mean? Like, before DeBoer got there. But I do think Bama wins this one. I think Bama wins this one 35 to I'm going to say 28. I'm going to say it's still a more high-scoring game. I think Vandy will have enough to put up some points, with Diego Pavia and the weapons around him. But I think Bama wins, gets revenge from last year, but Vandy covers.
I like that take. Yeah, I think I got Bama. I'll take Bama 31, Vandy 21.
All right. Jacob?
My thoughts on this game, I think it'll be a close game either way. I think Vanderbilt gets the win once again. I think Diego Pavia is playing at a high level. I think he's going to solidify himself as a Heisman contender this Saturday. And I think Ty Simpson kind of has a bounce back to earth type game. Still have a decent game, but he won't be like super efficient. Like I feel like he'll struggle a tiny bit more this weekend. So I'll give my final score prediction. I'd say Vanderbilt 28, Alabama 21.
All right, Jacob with
that
the upset.
happened. that
Yeah.
would be.
Jacob, if that happens, you'll be the host from now on.
Yeah.
Well, just the fact that what a roller coaster for Kalen DeBoer if that did happen. Like,
I mean,
I don't know how
it happened last year.
It did. I mean, now granted, that was like kind of year one, and they didn't have like the Florida State beatdown that. And I guess this year was better because like last year, I think we've talked about it a lot, but like last year, clearly Georgia was not prepared for Milroe, and then they just come in and tear it up on them, and Carson Beck played horribly, and they still had a chance to win.
Yeah.
This felt a little. I mean, there was a lot of games going on, but if you watch most of this game, Bama was like in control. They were the better team.
Yeah.
Georgia had that awful drop, but Ryan Williams also had the horrible drop in the first half. So Bama was in control the whole game. There was no like if this would have happened. Like no, they were the better team and they took it to them. So I think it's a little different for them, but it's basically like if Vanderbilt's capable of recreating some of the stuff that Castellanos and Florida State did to Bama the first week of the season. I mean, there's maybe a path, but I don't know. It's just one of those. It's hard to see, like, if Bama's as locked in as what they were in that Georgia game. It's just I don't know if Vandy has the offensively. It's going to be tough for them to move the ball, especially if Stowers is neutralized out of that game. So they're going to have to run it on them. And if they can't, then I don't know what they got else in the chamber.
Yeah. But yeah, that's going to be a good one. But the next one, this is my personal favorite game of the week, I feel like. Miami at Florida State. Miami opens as a 4.5-point favorite. Over-under is 53.5. And with this one, I think this is more of like a spot where a lot of people are going to fade Florida State now because of last week. But Florida State probably was looking ahead to this, hey, knowing we have Miami this week. And now they're going to be more prepared for this game. I think Florida State's going to, one of my favorite plays just because of, how college football rolls with teams looking ahead, preparing ahead for, the next week's opponent. I love Florida State to cover in this spot. I know they just lost to Virginia. I know all that. It was a bad loss. But still, I like Florida State in this spot to cover. I'm going to wait to do my score prediction to let everyone else speak, but I'll start with Jacob.
I guess I'll start. I don't think Florida State's going to bounce back this week. I really think Miami is a solid top 4 team in college football. So I think they're going to beat the spread. Give me Miami 38-24.
Jeffrey?
Yeah, kind of similar. I really like Miami in this. I don't think FSU bounces back. I think Miami wins comfortably. I think Miami 40, Florida State 31.
Matt?
Is that a comfortable win?
9
40
points,
to 31?
I mean,
this game
points,
is at the Doak, correct? This is at Florida State.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So Miami today, I think, is the best team in college football. If playoff were tomorrow, they should be ranked number 1. They should be the 1 seed just based on their body of work, what they've done this season. And they are stacked. They're stacked up front. They're stacked at skill positions. And this is Carson Beck has exceeded my expectations for what I thought he was capable of doing. I did not think that he had this kind of play in him, and they're not really asking much of him. So this is what Carson Beck can bring to a really good football team that they have there. So I think for now, Florida State's in a tough spot. And again, it's hard to say this early on in the season. I don't know if that is a bad loss yet. We don't know if that loss against Virginia is a bad loss. Virginia's playing good football themselves and has a pretty favorable schedule coming up. So it could just, and that was Florida State's first road game. These games are always close. This is the best rivalry in college football that no one really talks about because it doesn't really have a name, or it doesn't have any real history besides the 80s and the 90s and 2000s there. But these games are always close. They're always lined up with NFL players up and down the field. But this year, Miami's just a better team than they are. I still think Florida State makes it a closest game, but I do think that Miami's a better team. They're going to find a way to win. This will be a test for one because Mario, the clock management with Mario has not always been great. So this will be a test to see if they've kind of figured that out. Because of how potent the Florida State offense can be, they're probably going to have a lead, and they're probably going to have to find a way to close it out. I mean, that stuff happens in the NFL. The Packers can't close out games currently. That's kind of always been the thing against Mario, that the clock management has not always been there. So if they figure that out, I mean, I don't see how, like, player for player, I think Miami's just a much better team. So I'll say Miami wins that game 27-20. I'll give the 7-point game to Miami there. But I think it'll be close. Like, I can definitely see, like, do not be surprised if this is like a very close last possession kind of game, because that's just how it is when these two teams play. And yeah, great rivalry there. So yeah, but I think Miami beats them.
See, in this spot, like I stated, kind of in the intro I gave for it, Florida State coming off the loss of Virginia. You kind of touched on it. Could be a bad loss, couldn't be early on in the year. We'll see how Virginia plays the rest of the year. They do have an easier schedule, like you said. But at the same time, you have this spot where Florida State was trying to be a look-ahead spot last week. It is a rivalry game. It is in Tallahassee. All those signs to me point for a Florida State cover. Now, I do think Miami is the better team here. But one thing we do know about Florida State is they can score. They are the number one scoring offense in college football for a reason, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So you go in there, but, like, my favorite play in this game is the over. I think there's going to be a lot of points on both sides. I think that's the play of the game, personally, in my opinion. Now, Miami does have the better talented roster. They do have better talent on each side of the line of scrimmage. But regardless, just with this spot and the dynamic around it, I do think Florida State covers here. Spread's 4.5, like I said earlier. I'm gonna go Miami 35, Florida State 32. I think it's more points in this game. I think Florida State will be able to cover this one. But any final thoughts on that one before we move to the next one?
Miami should be ranked number 1 in the country if they beat Florida State. I am so tired of the AP poll, and I would be very interested in, like, unless you've seen enough from Ohio State, they should be ranked number 1.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm with that. I mean, the AP polls just lost all credibility this season.
It's been a rough year for them, has it not?
It's been, yeah, not the finest hour for the AP.
Hey,
per se,
I got a sneaky game before you get into that next one, Will. 4-0 Maryland, Terrapins home against Washington.
Okay.
I like the Terps in this one. At least to cover the 6.5. They've looked. This is the best Maryland team there's been in a while. So.
Okay.
Shout out Malik Washington.
Yeah, true freshman.
He just looks good.
You know what? Just because we have you here, Joof, I'll let you lead off on this one. Kansas State at Baylor. I'll give you the setup. Baylor's a 6.5-point favorite, and the total is over. Or the over/under is 61.5. Go ahead, Joof. This is your moment to shine.
Yeah, Kansas State's coach has not watched any film. He went in a press conference and was like, "Yeah, man, they're elite on defense. They're great at tackling." If you've watched any ounce of Baylor football this season, we can't tackle at all. You watched it against Auburn. It takes 2-3 guys to get a runner down, especially a running back.
Yeah.
So I don't know what film they've watched. I know Kansas State does have a healthy running back. Edwards played against UCF last week. I think he had like 160 yards, something crazy. So him being back is definitely going to be interesting because now they get the 1-2 punch of, hey, you have a quarterback who can run, you have a running back who can run. But Avery Johnson never
needs though.
Yeah, he never took those steps forward that they needed to. I still like Baylor at home in this. We suck at home. We haven't won a big Power 4 game at home this year. But I think this is going to be a good one. We looked all right against Oklahoma State last week, but I like Baylor to at least win this. I don't know if we cover the 7, but We'll be at least close. I think we probably win by probably like 3, probably 3 or 5.
Thoughts on
Matt.
Avery Johnson?
A bum, and his parents and family are bums too because they got arrested in Ireland.
Matt, I was about to call you because I felt like you had something to say, but you were just setting that up, weren't you?
Oh, I was setting that up, and I hear some serious Chris Kleiman slander. I will not accept that. Chris Kleiman is a 4-time
He's
national
ruining those
champion
kids.
coach. No, that man won 4 national titles in 5 seasons with the Bison. He's a Big 12 champion as well. He won the Big 12 3 years ago, and pretty sure his record's like 122 and 44 as a coach. So let's dial it back here on Chris Kleiman here. Very good coach for Kansas State. Well, what's he supposed to say there? Like, these guys suck. Their defense
Yes,
is terrible.
because we do. Our
He's
games
setting it
are
up
won.
for when Avery Johnson has like 48 yards of total offense in the third quarter. He's looking around like, man, this defense is good. See, I was right. Like, give the man some grace there. That guy is a national champion coach. Give him some grace there.
Off topic, but Kansas State quarterback should not go to Ireland.
That's not that off topic. I mean, Juke said the same thing. He called out his entire family.
And then Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, he had to issue like a public apology. And yeah, Skylar Thompson got his ass kicked apparently in Ireland also.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so the Kansas State football quarterback pipeline is struggling there. We got to check in on how like Josh Freeman's doing and Colin Klein, and yeah, we got to make some calls. Well, Colin Klein's actually killing it as the offensive coordinator at A&M. So yeah, he's doing well there. So he should
might
be
do
good.
some wellness calls. Not gonna lie, some wellness suits on some people. Well, let's see.
Hey,
I was debating the next one, but I think I'm gonna go with this one. Texas at Florida. Texas is a 6.5-point favorite. The over/under is 41.5. Matt, do you want to start with this one?
That is a avert your eyes type of game in the probably coming your way. That total is going to be tough to take an over on. For what was supposed to be like, you were going to see like scouts from all 32 teams at that game to evaluate Lagway, Arch, the talent both teams have on their defenses. That was supposed to be like relatively, both teams are going to be ranked, and now that is, for a variety of reasons, not the case. So I don't know which quarterback has been more disappointing. For me, Lagway has been much more disappointing than Arch has, because I had much higher expectations for Lagway. For me personally, I was not on the Paul Feinbaum, like Tim Tebow train with Arch, but I fear for Texas, this game will be close, and they will have to like pull out a grinder. The Florida defense is still really, really good. So, and the Texas offense has showed literally nothing that inspires confidence to beat a defense that good on the road. I think this will be really close, and I would not be shocked if Florida beat them. I think before the season I had this as a game circle because Texas has been given we're not giving you the really tough SEC slate your first couple years in the league. So yeah, I'm very big on Florida's defense, and I'm very big on Florida's ability to keep it close. I do not see how unless Arch unlocks another level of his game, I do not see how Texas really torches them. So it really just comes down to if Lagway does not turn the ball over like an idiot, he threw the 5 picks against LSU, and they were kind of in that game.
Yeah. That was the only last 5 picks. It was 2013.
Yeah. So yeah, it was close. So I mean, yeah, they're in a place now where I think they have a chance to win. I will take Texas in a very, very close one, but they have to grind it out, get a couple big first downs and see what you can do. I'll just say 17-13, Texas wins barely. But I think I would not be shocked if Florida beat them, and no one else should be either, because they still have a ton of talent on that team, despite Billy Napier calling the plays still and how Lagway's played. So yeah, I would not be shocked if Florida beat him, but I'll take Texas in like a very close game.
See, I want to address something you said. You said you were more disappointed in Lagway than you are Arch Manning.
For sure.
reason-
yeah. 100%.
The reason I'm anti that is I was on the same boat with you about, Arch Manning's probably getting a little too praised, a little too quick, right? But at the same time, when you look at the college football community as a whole, 90% of what felt like the media fans were crowning Arch as the next best thing. So it's whenever you're viewed as that, you're viewed as the front runner for the Heisman, and Texas is easily a national title contender. It's when you don't live up to those expectations, it's hard to, especially because of his last name. He's a Manning.
Well, that's why it's not a disappointment for me. If his name was Arch Jones, I mean, who cares? It's just one of those Lagway kept Ole Miss out of the playoff last year. He played really good football down the stretch and had Florida as playing one of the best teams in the country later on in the season. And I thought he was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC and the country as a whole. And now he's whatever he is now. So, yeah, I think he's been much more disappointing. I thought he was going to head for a top 5 pick kind of thing, and that hasn't happened. And he's still got another year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends how you view it. I felt the same way about Arch. I felt that if Arch lives up to all this hype that's being placed on his shoulders, then yes, number 1 pick overall is in the conversation. Heisman's in the conversation. National championship is in the conversation for Arch. And I felt with Lagway, there was less hype surrounding him. There was some hype for sure and some Heisman chatter, but definitely not as much as Arch in my opinion. That's why I slightly disagree with that. But,
sure, yeah. The hype was not necessarily all around Lagway because Florida was a 7-win team last year, and they didn't really play well until the last few weeks of the season. And Texas, could have been in the national championship game a year ago. So, yeah, and the hype around who Arch Manning is and everything else, but on the field, to me, it was indisputable. Lagway was really carrying what was not that good of a Florida team last year, and just comfortably beating some of these teams who were really, really good. So,
he was strong at the end of the year for sure.
Yeah. So now it's, to me, that's kind of a disappointment in many other ways. But and because he's such a big part of what Florida does or was going to do, Texas has been unaffected by Arch's play. For as bad as he was at Ohio State, they still almost won and had a chance to win that game. And for them, it hasn't mattered yet to this point. And this might be, it mattered necessarily at Ohio State because if they score more than 7 points, that might be a different game. And then, this might be another spot where it really matters, how well he plays. And, that Florida defense won't have to do much to keep that game really low scoring. So we'll see.
So, yeah, you touched on it a little bit. My favorite play this entire game is the under. It's currently at 41.5. Truthfully, I might play this under down all the way to 36. I know that's crazy, but I could see this being
that's not a lot of points.
It's not, but Matt, your score prediction was what, 2013?
I said 17-13, yeah.
So then that under would hit right there. That's 30 combined points. I had it as 36. I think that's a very 41.5 is still too many points for these teams. They both have been struggling offensively. Both have really good to great defenses. I think this is going to be a gross, mucked up game where the defenses dominate for 4 straight quarters. And as far as score prediction goes, I do think Florida can make this one a little more interesting. The spread's 6.5, 7, depending on where you look. So I think this one, I love the under, as I said. I'm gonna go a similar score to you, Matt. I'm gonna go Texas 20. I'm gonna go Texas 17, Florida 14. I think this is a 3-point game. I think Texas will kick a field goal at the end to win in the Swamp. Who wants to go on this one next?
I guess so. I think Texas wins this game by a decent amount. I think Texas wins 31-14.
Wow.
Okay. So blowout.
So you think Arch is better than Nuss pretty much is what you're
Yeah.
But let's talk about that. Nuss is hurt though, right?
Yeah.
Nuss is not 100%, and Nuss has no run game for
No.
reasons no one understands.
Mhm.
But they cannot physically run the ball.
Hey,
also,
speaking of quarterbacks, Sawyer started running the ball last weekend. I just want to make sure, since y'all were not tuned in on ESPN Plus at 2:30.
No, we were not.
Sawyer
watching
had a
the,
rushing touchdown.
Post Gundy era of
Yeah, can't say I watched
Oklahoma
that one.
State. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't given mine yet. I like Texas still. I think Texas will, I'm with Matt, a gritty win. I honestly would like 16-13. I think this is going to be, both these teams struggle to find the end zone. So
Yeah, this is like for both quarterbacks, it's kind of a prove it to me game. Because one of them is like, that's what makes this game really interesting to me, despite it being a ranked versus unranked matchup. And that, like, both these quarterbacks have a lot to prove still this season and have been disappointing. We can all agree, especially Arch with all the hype surrounding him. So it's like one of these quarterbacks is going to just go even further like down the ladder after this weekend. And I think it's going to be Lagway personally. Like, I think he's going to make he's going to throw a few picks that really cost Florida.
Yeah, I mean, Lagway will have to force the issue. Like, he does not have the luxury what Arch has with Texas. Like, he's going to have to try to drive the ball down the field and put the ball in harm's way. So I don't think he has a choice. And he is not risk averse in the least as a quarterback. So, I mean, he's going to be up against it. I think they could, like, Sark will probably scheme out a better game plan for Arch in that situation of, make things a little easier for him. Probably, like, if you look at his spray chart after the game, it's not going to be a ton going down the field. It's probably going to be a lot of passes at or behind the line of scrimmage. And I think with Lagway, like, he's going to have to drive the ball down the field. So we'll see. And you definitely trust Sark in that situation with Arch more than you do like Billy Napier, who is calling the plays for Lagway. So, yeah, I mean, that it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot for both quarterbacks. But ultimately, I think Arch has more around him that, if it becomes a game of like who makes the first mistake kind of thing, like, you're going to have to go like minus 175. Lagway makes the first mistake in that game or something.
Yeah, no, for sure. But we got about 8 minutes left on tonight's. So we're going to run through these games, trying to speed run these here, trying to give quick answers each if y'all don't mind. All right, we got Kentucky at Georgia. Georgia is currently a 20.5-point favorite. The total is 48.5. Jacob, start us for this one.
I guess I'm going to give Georgia to beat the spread.
You got a score prediction?
Let's go. I guess we'll go Georgia 45, Kentucky 24.
Okay. Matt?
Okay.
I'm going to go Georgia 49 and Kentucky 17, and Georgia finally finds a way to get Zach Branch the ball.
Yeah, about time. Juve?
I think Kentucky 40, or not Kentucky, sorry, Georgia 40. Kentucky,
Andre Woodson back in Kentucky.
Kentucky 19.
I think this is a horrendous spot for Kentucky. Like, Georgia's going to be mad. Kirby's going to have them ready. I think they dominate, like, in Athens. I'm going to go Georgia 47, Kentucky 17. This is going to be a blowout. This is going to be over by halftime, most likely. This one's going to be ugly. But, all right, next one. Wisconsin at Michigan. Michigan's a 17.5-point favorite. The total is at 43.5. Jacob, why don't you – actually, Juve, why don't you start with this one?
Yeah, Wisconsin's terrible. I think this is a game where Bryce Underwood's I think he's gonna start to look good. I think Michigan wins this comfortably. I think they can cover that too at 17.5. I think Michigan wins. Probably, right. Yeah. I'll just take Michigan to cover. I couldn't give you a score prediction.
Okay, Jacob.
Michigan, I think, is going to dominate this game. Wisconsin is terrible. Luke Fickell is very, very close to being fired at Wisconsin. Like he's like 2 or 3 more losses away from it, maybe even less. So I'm going to go Michigan 35, Wisconsin 10.
Yeah,
All right.
really tough spot there for Wisconsin. They are very bad, and you hate to see it for Luke Fickell, who, took Cincinnati to really unseen heights there, and thought Wisconsin was going to be a really good fit. But yeah, Michigan should take them pretty easily. So I'll say 38-10 Michigan, and the Fire Fickell chants probably get louder.
Yeah. I think he's going to be one of the casualties of head coaches this year, for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of on board with all y'all. I think Michigan handles business. I do think Bryce Underwood will have a big day for sure. Score prediction wise, I'm going to go Michigan 42, Wisconsin 17, and just like Matt said, Luke Fickell, they're going to start getting ready for that buyout. Send him on his way. Next one, let's see. Oh, I wanted to touch on this one. Virginia at Louisville. Despite Virginia coming off that big win against FSU, they're a 6.5-point underdog, and the total is 61.5. I think this is going to be a comeback down to earth spot. I think Louisville is about to take Virginia to the woodshed. I think Louisville is going to beat there for 4 quarters. I'm confident in that. But Joof, you had a reaction, so I think you should start us off with that one.
I think Chandler Morris is a good QB. We saw that last week. I don't think they're going to get taken to the woodshed. I do think Louisville will win, but I do think it'll be closer than taken to the woodshed. If I had to say, I like Virginia.
I'm going to need you to rank those like metaphors, idioms, that type of thing. I'm going to need to know where tank the woodshed ranks.
Yeah, Will Luke, where's taken to the woodshed?
Cleaners, like where are we? Yeah, like a lot of places we can be taken there. I'm gonna need those ranked at some point.
I don't know. It's probably top 5 easily. That's a good one. I feel like.
Yeah,
this is a good way of saying you're getting cooked.
Yeah, you are correct though. I do think that it is a spot where like Virginia, that's the biggest win they've had in, several years. And you got to think like Monday and Tuesday, they got nothing done in their lead up for
They were still celebrating.
So, yeah, and Louisville's good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they're very well coached. That's a good team. They're going to score a lot of points probably. If Virginia does get through this, they do have a really, really, really favorable draw ahead. But, I would say that conventional wisdom says that Louisville probably beats them here. And I wouldn't be shocked if it was a rather not convincing, but like it was not in doubt type of game.
Yeah. Jacob, you want to go ahead before I give my score prediction?
I think Virginia plays good again. I really think they win this game. I think Louisville is due for a loss. I think Chandler Morris is a better QB than Miller Moss. I know Louisville's kind of skirted by Pitt and James Madison both choked.
JMU did choke hard. Yeah.
Yeah, like Louisville should have lost both those games, and it was more so the other team just choked, throwing it away, than Louisville being all that great. I'm not sold on this Louisville team, so give me Virginia in a close one, 31-24 over Louisville.
Matt, you want to give us your score prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to say that Louisville probably wins, I'll say like 35-20.
Okay.
But I'm pulling for Virginia. I am. I'm pulling for them.
Joof, you got anything?
It's not going to be taken to the woodshed. I'll say that. Leave it at that, though. I think Virginia covers. I'm with Jacob on that.
Good
Okay.
news.
I don't think they
for
win.
Virginia, the woodshed is closed. No beatings will be handed out there. Yeah.
And hopefully Louisville's ball boy is not assaulted. He typically does get a pick or whatever.
All right, so I'm gonna give mine for the final game we're talking about for this week. I'm gonna go Louisville, 41. I'm gonna go Virginia, 30. I think it's just your classic letdown spot, and that's probably not being taken to the woodshed, like I said. But I still think this is.
He's already walked it back.
Yeah, I know, just a little bit. Hey, an 11-point win, still solid, covering. Hey, good teams win, great teams cover. But yeah, I think this is a good spot for Louisville. I think they win and they cover here pretty easily. But before we get off, boys, y'all have anything you want to plug, like your Twitter, Instagram, anything? Any other thing y'all are going to be on?
I need to make a burner. The Big 12 burner versus insane.
I want to plug a donation drive for James Franklin's buyout, which is getting some steam here locally. People are very upset. They're waiting to see if Adidas can pull anything off. But the upcoming stretch for Penn State, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you guys talked about it any. If they do not get through this one, yeah, it's tough. Northwestern is not a real team. Basically, them and UCLA are. UCLA is not an FBS team. Essentially, it's Nico and like junior high players for the most part. But yeah, so there's some donations going on there. If anyone wants to contribute, people are saying he could go to Arkansas. I don't think that's much of a fit for him, but yeah, people are not happy here to say the least. So
maybe should have got rid of Bo. Bo, I think, was the future, and he's doing great at Mizzou. I think Mizzou's a very underrated team.
At Mizzou now.
I think Mizzou
went 26 to 29 passes his last game, albeit they were playing UMass, who is also barely an FBS team. But still, yeah. Shout out to the Minutemen. Yeah.
Y'all throw up a prayer for your boy. I already bought the Auburn, Missouri tickets like a month ago. So
speaking of Kansas State, like Frank Martin was the basketball coach at UMass also somehow. That gets lost in I'm getting ahead of myself here, but yeah, that was
William Luke, you're in the same position I was when I bought the Purdue versus Nebraska tickets for football last year. Like I bought them 2 months way before the season.
Yeah, this is probably like the worst combination of a team for us to play. Like Missouri's number one national run defense. So we're not going to be able to run the ball on them. Bo Prabilia has been awesome all year. Our secondary can't cover anybody. He's going to expose our secondary most likely, even though it's in Jordan Hare. But I'm sort of going to go.
The good news for you guys is that you can show Coach Drink around the facility and around the stadium, show him around the campus.
You read my mind.
Get him,
You read my mind.
Yeah, see if Drink likes what he sees there. Maybe he'd
Did you somehow read me and Travis's text messages?
No, that sounds like quite a place, but no, yeah, I just who wouldn't want Coach Drink as their coach these days? That's
I'll be honest, I'd take him in a heartbeat. I would take him.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he did wonders at App State for a year, and I thought he was kind of in over his skis in Missouri, but he is most certainly not. Yeah, he's really.
Also, I did look because I was curious. After this year, Bo Prabilia does have one more year of eligibility in college. Just saying. So, Drinkwitz, if you come to Auburn, Bo Prabilia, come to the Plains. We need somebody. That's my my plug. That's all I need. I'm not putting my Twitter out there, my Instagram. That's all I'm saying. But Jacob, give anything you plug.
I'll plug One Shining Recap, State of the Bucks, in my personal Twitter, which is in my name icon right there. So go listen to those podcasts and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, what have you.
All right. Any closing thoughts, guys?
Ready for another great weekend of college football.
Amen. Anybody else?
The only other thought I had before we got off here, have you seen like Robbie Ashford play football in the year 2025?
I did.
Do we
I did
do
watch
we know
Wake
how
Forest.
old he is by chance? Like he's got the baseball career, he's got Auburn, South Carolina. Am I missing anywhere else? Like
He
he's at
started
Wake
at
now.
Oregon.
Yeah, like goodness gracious. Like
He's 23 somehow.
okay, yeah, guys going for like a record here at Power 5 schools or Power 4 now that he's trying to play at. So yeah, very impressed with what he's gotten around to do here. So
But yeah, let's see. I'm looking right now.
At least he's not TJ Lindsay level.
well,
Oh,
he
yeah,
sounds
TJ
like
Finley.
he's like the AJ Store of college football.
Or what's
He's
what's
just
that?
like-
The guy in college was it Isaiah Coleman Lands? It was like at
Trying to
7
think,
schools,
yeah.
Illinois and Kansas and somewhere else.
Let's see. Oh, we'll keep talking for a second. Travis
Where
has
is
to-
AJ Store now? Did we figure that out? Did he go to Memphis? Where did he go? I'm trying
I
to
know.
think because he
I have no
absolutely
idea.
left
All right.
Kansas.
I gotta go. I'll see y'all.
All right, man. Appreciate you joining.
I do.
Yeah, for sure.
See you, man.
I gotta figure out where AJ Store went. I thought he went to Memphis. I gotta be refreshed.
He's at Ole Miss.
Ah, yes, I forgot he went to go play for Beard.
Travis, the
I
man.
knew it was
I was
right
just about
next to
to call
Memphis.
you.
Yeah, it was either Memphis or Ole Miss. I had that on the tip of my tongue there. Same location.
Unfortunately,
basically.
Travis, I am about to have to get off. So if y'all want to stay on, that's fine. But I am about to get off in a second here.
Robbie Ashford is the AJ Store of college football. What a guy.
But
I had y'all on the big screen. I need that to be. I need
hey,
that to be shown.
Look at that.
Matt's a better sport than me. I was too sourpuss about the Red Sox to do a show tonight. So
we're glad
I
you
just
can
had
make
to
it.
talk through it. That's the only way I could stop thinking about Jaron Duran and Hudson.
But-
And yeah, that's
Thankfully,
Okay.
I don't really get emotional about MLB all that much. Was sad the Cubs lost today.
I could see both Travis and Matt holding their tongue right then.
yeah, I got a lot to say, but
Yeah.
luckily this isn't the Untitled Major League Baseball program, so I don't need to talk about it.
yeah,
Oh man.
very
Oh
fair.
boy. But yeah, I think we're about to wrap it up here. Actually,
Yeah,
I should have come on here and just done a Shadur Sanders for an hour.
That was the
Doing this
weirdest
fucking
thing.
guy. Yeah,
I mean, gosh, dude.
he'd be starting if he was playing for the Ravens. He's
Just sit in
like,
silence
well,
in the interview.
yeah,
What a move! what
Yeah,
a move!
that- he needs to fire someone. Like, and that doesn't sound like his dad because his dad never had any problem talking to media or anything. Like, he never gave him the silent treatment. So,
Oh Lord. All right, boys. Well, I gotta get off for the night. But I appreciate everybody joining, everybody tuning in to watch. Matt, thank you. Jacob, thank you. Trav, thank you for setting it up, man. And this has been episode 4 of the Untitled College Football Show. We're still working on the name. Appreciate y'all tuning in. All right, y'all have a good one.